Hey everyone, I'm Leah Swanberg, the founder of Canadian Fertility Consulting. And this webinar is to help people who are in the position of looking for a surrogate, whether it is the first time, whether it is the second time, whether you have had unsuccessful transfers and are looking to begin again. My hope is that over the next 30 minutes, I'm able to share some practical tools and tips for you to learn about this process of getting started or beginning again. We have a comment section. Aaliyah, if you can just type there so people know where they can ask questions, that would be fantastic. So yes, please post your comments or questions there. I want to start by saying this. Your match as intended parents begins before you even begin looking at profiles. And what I mean by that is this. As you are coming to surrogacy, it is so important to really make three agreements, two agreements as you come to surrogacy. The agreement that you make with yourself around what you are looking to experience during your surrogacy journey, and with complete honesty. Then talking to your partner if you have a partner, or talking to those in your life if you don't have a partner but have some people in your life you can lean on about their advice or what they may suggest for you in looking for a journey, looking for a surrogate. And what I mean by that is to really get clear about your views on the relationship that you're looking for with a surrogate, the type of surrogate that you're looking for, the type of contact you are interested in having during and after. We hear so many times from surrogates or intended parents that they really shouldn't have gone with the person that they did. That once things break, I really should have trusted my gut. I really should have listened to my intuition. And in doing that, or in looking at that, I imagine some of you are going, oh, yeah, about that. And it's true. There are pieces of this journey that are really a part of who we are and a part of who the surrogate is, and let them be them, let you be you. And how do we come together in the middle to have a productive, healthy, boundaried relationship? And so deciding, what kind of relationship you want, what your views and values are on termination of a pregnancy should an abnormality occur, what type of prenatal care, midwife, OB. Again, at this point, you might be like, I don't actually care. I just want to have a child. Wake me up in 9 months, hand me my child, and that's all I want. And so I get it. Wait times can be long. This process can be painful. So today I'm going to give you some tips on how to navigate that. So agreement with yourself, agreement with your partner about what they're looking for, and then working with the agency. So if you're watching this video and you've had a match break, which I think is probably all of you, I want to encourage you with this. If I'm hungry, the only thing that will satiate me is food. If I'm unmatched, what will give me a lift or cheer me up or make things go forward is for me to be matched. And so with that, we are going to encourage you to move quickly. As you move quickly, we're also going to ask you to slow down. So fast, slow, fast, slow. And with that, we are going to suggest that as a match breaks, if it is recently broken for you, to reach out to your case specialist, who is either Miranda or Haley if your case specialist used to be Elena. Miranda, if you've been waiting to be rematched for a couple months or more. Possibly Vicky, who's back next week after her maternity leave. Reach out to them and say something like, I want to be rematched quickly. How can you help me? And they will hopefully provide you some insight, some information. They'll look at your biography and your video and your Canva, and hopefully will give you some advice. They may look at it and say, wow, it's all great. Can you talk to Leah and Aaliyah? Aaliyah is in our marketing department and a rematch specialist. I'm the founder of CFC and for 20 years have been doing this. What I'm going to suggest is if you have not touched your profile, made changes to your profile, redone your video, added photos to your Canva in the last 90 days, it is time to do it today. We know that if after 90 days you have not been selected and you have asked to be put forward to surrogates, there is a problem. And although, you might go, well, why didn't anyone tell me 90 days ago there was a problem? Here's why. I am no longer a surrogate. My last surrogacy journey ended 20 years ago. Aaliyah is not a surrogate. And the case specialists are not surrogates. And so while we think it's great, it doesn't matter if it doesn't resonate with surrogates. And so if that is you, please, in this chat, there's a link. Hopefully, Aaliyah, you can place a link to our brand building guide document. If you can't collect the link there, please email us and ask us for this document. This document will be your roadmap. Every 3 months, Aaliyah and I look at all of the intended parents who have matched, whether through a first-time match, a second-time match, it doesn't matter how they match. But what we do is we analyze their assets, their brand assets, their family branding. And what we look for is parallels. We look for things that, person 1 and person 5 and person 2 and person 20 all have done. And then we will change our brand building guide. We will send emails out saying, hey, try this, try that. And with that information, we are seeing more people match because we are seeing their brand assets really speak to surrogates in our community. And so if it's been 90 days and we say, hey, we want to change things, and then it's been another 90 days, so now we're at 6 months, we're going to ask you again. We're going to ask you every 30 days until you're matched. And that's not to keep you busy. That's to get you matched. And so please bear with us when we're asking for this. It really is because we are seeing trends behind the scenes and we want to get you matched. So in terms of trends, another thing that we are seeing right now is that 30% of our surrogates are coming in through social media and choosing intended parents. And over half of that 30% are experienced surrogates who are following our page, who probably weren't planning on doing another journey, but saw your profile, saw someone's profile on our page and said, these people, they're worth coming out of retirement for. And we see that, we see that time and time again. And so if you are up for social media, we want to showcase you there. We want to share your video. We want to share photos of you. We want to make a fun reel. We want to make something to capture the attention of a surrogate. The least interesting thing about you is that you need a surrogate. The most interesting thing about you is that you hiked Mount Everest, that you donate your time to a charity, that you have read a book a week since you were 10 years old, that you have been to 47 countries, that you work at the zoo, those are the things. Because what we don't want is the match you had if it didn't go well, or we want the match that you did have because you had something in common and you had that relationship that transcended just this journey. And but for the fact that she got pregnant, you're here again. And 20% of you are here again. And you're here again because after 3 transfers, your doctor suggested you be here again, knowing that compatibility is an issue. And so with this 30% of people that come to us through social media, how do they find us? Well, in all of our emails, our social media handles are there. And we have emails with lots of people. People find us through advertisements on Facebook and Instagram talking about our surrogacy retreats, talking about women's communities, women's groups that we offer, women's circles that we offer. They see us as a women's social network. And so when they do that, they follow us. And then when they follow us, they continue to follow us and they see you there. And so as we have surrogates see you there, click on your link, ask us about you, we then are going to have the backup. We're going to have a great Canva. We're going to have a great biography. We're going to have great assets to get to them so that they can learn more about you. And so as we're asking you for permission to share on social media, it is not to gain more followers. It is not to show people that we have intended parents in Tunisia or in France or in the US or in Calgary, Alberta. It is to get you matched. And for many people, they aren't up for that, and we get it. But if you are, here's how we can leverage your social media presence, our social media presence, to get you matched. We never expect you to share on your personal Instagram. What we do suggest is that you connect with Baden, who runs Not My Tummy, or NMT. You may have gotten emails about this program. We have partnered with NMT. We pay them for their services to help our intended parents find their voice and share their unique story. In doing so, we partner with those intended parents through collaborative posts, through more storytelling, through sharing their storytelling, through our social platforms to get them noticed. NMT's connection point is an initial call in which you hear more about the program, which is not affiliated with us. However, we are happy, more than happy, to pay your entrance into this program. The value is $1,200. We strongly believe in this program. We have seen intended parents match. I think it's 7 out of 10 people that we've entered have matched, and half of them have matched with experienced surrogates who saw them through a collaborator post on our Instagram. So initially it's a call. There's a group call. You'll have a community there of people who are all in the same boat, same stage as you. From there, you will have a document sent to you to fill out. Baden then takes that document and she creates a roadmap for you. And she gives you an Instagram handle and she helps you tell your story over a number of weeks. As you're creating that, you are adding us as a collaborator. We're sharing it on our page with the hopes to get you matched quickly. We know that community grows socially, and we know that Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all these spots are really where moms are, and we are looking for moms. So we are everywhere that moms are, whether that is at the park on their phone, whether that's at school pickup on their phone, whether that is at mom's group on their phone. We know that surrogates are finding us, so finding CFC on their phone. We know that they're finding intended parents on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, on their phone. And so with that, Baden helps intended parents share their story in a way that moms will relate and feel drawn to help those people, those participants in NMT. We have spaces available. I think we have 2 spaces in our next group that starts next week. So please reach out to Aaliyah or myself. If you don't have our email addresses, post below saying, please contact me and we will reach out to you. So that's one way to be seen on socials. The other way is to simply ask us to share your story. We don't have time for NMT. We're on vacation this month. We this, we that. And we would really like to to have you share our story, we're happy to do that. So if you are watching this and you don't have 45-second videos, or when I say 45-second videos, you're not sure what I'm talking about, we need 45-second videos. And what we need are short, cute videos. Look at cfc.families. There are videos of intended parents dancing, baking, gardening. Some people don't want to be seen. They don't want their faces shared. They're in forward-facing jobs. And so it will be a picture of a sunset and a voiceover. It will be a picture of a woman at a coffee shop. And one that worked really well, that was just really sweet, was a picture of a woman at a coffee shop. And it wasn't the intended mom. And it said, I sat down with my pre-kid self. She was having a second child with us. I sat down with my pre-kid self, and I was early, and or she was early, I was late. I was disheveled because my toddler was with me. I told her that it was going to be okay. She cried, knowing or believing that she would never be a mom. And it really resonated with moms. And, you know, I think it ended with, I've never thought I would be enough to be a mom. Having a missing uterus left me empty, you know, and so as we're thinking about sharing on socials, for many people, it's scary. They're not comfortable. They have this forward-facing job. They live in a country where surrogacy isn't allowed. They aren't sure. Baden has an opportunity for everyone, you know, and because you're posting this with hashtags of Canadian surrogacy in Canada, really, you know, the content typically stays here in Canada. And again, Baden will share that information with you and how to sort of work with that. And if you aren't going to go into her program and you'd like to work with us, Aaliyah and I are more than happy to share with you what we have learned, what I've learned over 20 years and what Aaliyah's learned over the past 3, working with intended parents on how to tell their story, how to get rematched, how to connect with an audience. So that's one way. If there's just absolutely no way and you're not interested, but you'd like to work with Aaliyah and I on other ways to be seen, we would love to meet with you and share with you another way in which we're getting intended parents seen, which is through A/B testing of emails. And so if you, once I explain this, are interested, again, please reach out to us and start thinking about this. What I said maybe 10 minutes ago, surrogacy is the least important thing about you, the least interesting thing about you. All we need is 2 things about you that are interesting and 10 photos of each. And here's what we do. We create 2 emails. We send email A to half of our grouping because we have 50,000 lead emails, people who have been interested, who have begun to sign up, who have filled out a profile but haven't moved forward, have had questions for us. They haven't unsubscribed, so they're still interested in our view. So we're going to create 2 emails, and we're going to send one to half, one to the other. And then we're going to, after 2 weeks, we're going to collect that data. We're going to meet with you the next week, and we're going to share what we know. So in these emails, I will give you an example. We had a couple, and one was a hiker, and he had hiked Mount Everest. The other partner had a baking business and created the most beautiful cakes. And so we had these 2 emails, and one was, are you a hiking mom? Check out this view. And open the email, and it's a picture of this beautiful view. And then their Canva, and then click a link to book a call. Anyone that books a call, our intake team gets a note with the call link, or with the calendar link. This person is booking a call to talk about these intended parents. So intake team pulls up these intended parents. with the information that this is who they're going to talk about. On the other email, it's check out grandma's chocolate cake recipe. It's a family favorite. Inside a recipe, a picture of the cake. We create all of this for you. A small video of, the partner baking. And why we do that is because we know there has to be something more than just the surrogacy journey. If there isn't, okay, not everybody is looking for, a close relationship, and we understand that. But we also know that if there is an opportunity to have a shared interest, we know that that helps sort of build a relationship in this very interesting meeting, or this very interesting context of surrogacy. And so we collect data for 2 weeks, we then review it, and we get it prepared, and a week later we meet with you. Then we switch the audiences, share it again. And by the end of that 6 weeks, if we don't have some really solid leads, we're going to come back to you and say, okay, we're going to do something else. We need to continue to do something differently each month in order to get the result we want. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result. So we need to get creative. We need to get into a different mindset, because yes, the first time you matched, it may have been super easy. You may have been picked in 2 weeks. And we know that every 3 months we're analyzing trends. And we know right now people are waiting 9 months. You waited a month, they're now waiting 9. So we can't go back in time to this 1 month. We're here now at 9. And so with that, I really want to encourage you to ask us, what can you do differently? And we'll know, what can we do differently? And so as we're sharing this information, and as they're clicking the link and we're getting their email address, aside from them entering our program for you this way, or getting information, I should say, we also have a cadence of emails that goes out every 5 to 7 days from the time they have clicked to book a call. The first one is learn more about them, exclamation. And it's more about you. So it may be in the first email, we just had the hiking videos and hiking pictures. This one is going to be your Canva. Check out their family. Skip to page 5 to learn more about their work as doctors, or whatever. We're gonna get them to click through your Canva to really engage them. 5 days later, we're gonna email, here's more about their clinic. And we have an email that goes out about Create or Generations or San Diego Fertility, whatever clinic you're working with. We have that 5 to 7 days later. Hear what other surrogates have to say. And it's an email with the voices of surrogates, videos of them talking, sharing their experiences with surrogacy. And we do all of that so that we are slow dripping this information while the surrogates over here, hopefully doing an information call with one of our team members, providing birth records, getting a criminal record check, going through the paces of our surrogacy program. Now, from the time of that booking a call to the time of becoming a surrogate is often 3 to 6 months, because they're waiting for birth records. They want to go talk to their OBGYN to see if it's a good idea. They need to talk to their spouse or partner who works away and isn't back till next month. It's not an immediate, but it's an on top of. And we want to layer on top of all of these different ideas. So whether that's NMT and Baden's program, and A/B testing of emails, and us just simply sharing you on Instagram, and you being in our regular program. All of these things working together are really how we are going to find you a surrogate. And if you pick one and, number 1 and number 4, great. If you say, look, I want to just throw everything at it and I want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, please do. We want that. Now, I also want to dispel the myth that is out there that rematch people aren't prioritized, that there's this long list. I want to share this. We are the largest agency. We match typically 30 intended parents per month. And with that, in the month of August, we matched 18 intended parents in first-time matches and 12 in secondary restart rematch matches. So we are pretty close to 50-50. And when surrogates come into our program, they immediately start looking at our Instagram. They immediately start looking at our waiting to be matched page. So if you are not on our waiting to be matched page, ask us. We'd love to put you there. But they're everywhere. They're all these places, right? So we want the surrogate to see you on Instagram. We want her to see you in our waiting to be matched page. We want her to see your profile sent to her when you expressed interest. Now, with that, if you express interest and 10 other people express interest, who is the priority? It is like asking what comes first, the chicken or the egg. And I'm going to tell you, I don't know. What I do know is that if you have expressed interest in a surrogate, your name is going to go into a queue of intended parents that the surrogate's intake person is going to review with the surrogate. Now, what's really important on that is this. If you express interest and you happen to be seen first by the surrogate, for many people, they want to be seen first. What I can tell you about being seen first is it doesn't always mean you are going to be selected. The surrogate may open the profile and go, this is it. They have the same dog as me. It's a sign. Or open the first profile. They look great, but I also want to look. Like I want to keep looking. So surrogate gets to intended parent number 9. This is them. I've seen 8 other people. Number 9 is it. It's my lucky number. And so with that, and the reason I share that is oftentimes intended parents will ask me, how do I know the surrogate is seeing me and in what order? I don't know that the surrogate will see you. I know that you've expressed interest, and I know the surrogate is on our waiting to be matched page, on our Instagram page, seeing intended parents that we share in our closed social group, and is being sent profiles. And so she may, you may have been sent her, and later that day she finds someone on our Instagram or on our waiting to be matched page. We just don't know. But what we do know is that we are going to, dig in with you to get you in front of as many surrogates as we can in as many places as we can. Because for us, every intended parent is unique and there is no competition among intended parents. If an intended parent wants a single mom over 40 years old and you're married, are you leaving your husband? Are you over 40? We're not going to ask you that because we know the answer. And so finding your brand, finding out who you are, because it isn't simply someone who wants to be a mom. It isn't simply someone who wants to be a dad. It isn't someone who is heartbroken. All of those things can be true. And that is one piece of your story. Just because I'm a mom doesn't mean I'm not a daughter. And so figuring out just because you're heartbroken doesn't mean you can't be hopeful. And so coming at this and looking at this as an experiment, a social experiment. How far can I push myself? How comfortable can I become with the uncomfortable? How much can I push Leah and Aaliyah to help me? Well, you can push us all day long. We want to get you rematched. We want to be a part of your comeback story. We know that, you know, reputation is worth more than money. And the hardest thing about working with CFC is we have the most people on rematch. That is a fact. And it's a fact because we're the largest. And what we do in terms of matches in 1 month, most agencies are doing in 1 year. And so there are more that fall apart. There are more intended parents who are looking for surrogates. There are more intended parents not becoming pregnant with their surrogate after 3 tries and they have to start again. And what's most important to note is that we are the largest agency. We are a surrogate-led organization. Being a surrogate-led organization means we will take as many intended parents as we can because we want surrogates to have choice. And if you are, considering a small agency with 10 staff, 10 staff, we have 30 staff. But if you're looking at an agency that takes 10 intended parents, is a surrogate going to come to an agency that has 3 same-sex couples, like dad families, 2 single dads, 2 single moms, and 3 heterosexual couples? Probably not. We know that surrogates need 10 sets of intended parents, the type of intended parents that share their values around termination, are in the location they're interested in working with, all of those things. We know that if there's 10 intended parents, they're not going to go there. And so while we do have this long list, we also have a great resource and opportunity with a large number of surrogates. And so our job, my job, Aaliyah's job, is to get you in front of them. So please reach out to us. We want to do A/B testing of emails. We want to share you in our closed surrogacy groups on Facebook. We want to add you to our A/B testing emails. We want to introduce you to Baden at Not My Tummy. We want to work with you and for you to tell your story, and with the understanding that that you may be tender, that you may be burned out, you may be excited, you may be scared, you may be hurt by your last surrogate. And all of that can be true, really all at the same time. And all feelings and emotions and heartache and heartbreak and excitement are welcome here. And we will do our absolute best to find you the absolute best surrogate that meets your criteria and you meet hers. So that was a lot of talking, 35 minutes. I would love to answer any questions that people have. And if you're not comfortable, please, if you're not comfortable asking your questions out loud, please send us a message, either Aaliyah or myself. I would love to move you forward.